The last passage of the set of 4 passages mercifully turned out to be the easiest. Now, once you have, so as I said in the exam, if you're rushing through the most difficult passage, which was the one on lucid and radical feminism, and you would attempted 2 questions, this would be a breather, a relief. Okay. Let's read. It's a passage based on communication between fungi. Mushrooms on a log may each seem like quiet standalone organisms, but they're actually the above ground sporing fruit belonging to a fungus connected to the large organism by a root network called mycelium. They seem like standalone organisms, but they are actually connected. Okay, they are the above ground part of a fungus. Below it, they are connected to a larger organism by a root network called the mycelium. Although fungi may not seem very talkative either, a new study shows that electric signals traveling through their mycelium network could help the organism communicate. A new study has found that there are electric signals that travel through the mycelium of the fungi, which could help the organism communicate. Very interesting. A research paper concludes that some fungi use electrical impulses to share and process information internally. So research has found that to share and communicate internally, they use electrical impulses. When signal activity spikes, it creates an intricate patterns that may function like words in human speech. So electrical signals, electrical activity, when these signals spike, it has been found that this communication may function, the signals may function like words in human speech. It is estimated that fungi vocabulary could consist of about 50 words. So they send electrical signals, they communicate with each other, and they've also found that these signals function somewhat like words in human speech, and the vocabulary could be about 50 words in the human language if you look at it. Next para. Previous research has found that fungi can send electrical impulses underground through long thread-like structures called hyphae, which expand to form a network of mycelium. Hyphae sort of work like nerve cells transmitting signals to other parts of the human body. Just like nerve cells send signals to other part of the human body, you have underground thread-like structures called hyphae, which are analogous to nerve cells in human beings. Some studies have shown electrical activity increases when the hyphae of wood-digesting fungi touch wooden blocks, which indicate that fungi use these impulses to share information about food or injury. Per The Guardian, according to The Guardian, this must be happening, that there has been research which has found that electrical activity increases when they did an experiment of hyphae of wood digesting fungi. They found that electrical impulses increase when wood digesting fungi touch wooden blocks, and this suggests that they may be sharing information about food, about injury, about whatever. In the new study, so this is the earlier study about hyphae sending signals. In the new study, 4 fungi species, ghost fungi, caterpillar fungi, split gill fungi, and enoki fungi were analyzed. 4 different fungi were analyzed. Study author Andrew Adamatsky, a computer scientist, eavesdropped. Eavesdrop means to listen to what others are saying on the fungi chit-chat. So what did he eavesdrop on? Fungi talking to each other through electrical signals using tiny electrodes connected to hyphae to measure spikes in signal activities. Each spike in activity was organized into groups and given a linguistic and so this is all about how it was done. Spikes varied in duration and length, with some impulses lasting up to 21 hours. So he had electrodes, he had the whole thing set up. Whenever there was a spike in activity between the fungi, he could listen to the electrical impulses, and sometimes these impulses lasted up to 21 hours. Clusters of electrical points resembled a human vocabulary of about 50 words. only 15 to 20 fungal words are frequently used. 50 words is the range, but out of this 15 to 20 words commonly used. Fungal words are also similar in length to human words. So, lot of facts here about fungal words, vocabulary, length, lot of questions if they ask on fact-based passages. For this, you have to refer back to the passage. Don't have to remember all these. A fungal word length averaged 4 species. Over 4 species is 5.97, same range as an average word length in human language, 4.8 in English and 6 in Russian. Adamatsky writes in the paper, in terms of complexity, split-gill mushrooms produce remarkably diverse sentences according to the study. While the research shows fungi produce patterns of electrical signals, there's no way to tell what they are talking at all if they are at all talking. So scientific analyst says that look, there has been a spike in signals, but it's difficult to figure out what are they talking about, if at all they are talking. I mean, some scientists say this is similar to human words, but some say they're not sure. They say we don't know what they're talking about, if you call that talking. We don't know if there's a direct relationship between spiking patterns and fungi and human speech. There's no direct relations between two. Adamatsky told The Guardian, possibly not. On the other hand, there are many similarities in the information processing in living substrates of different classes, families, and species, and I was just curious to complete. Excuse me. Like howling wolves, the fungi could be signaling their presence to one another, or they could also be saying nothing. But the spiking events are not random. Okay, this is what the researcher has said. He says, look, they may be saying something, they may not be saying something, but this spiking activity is not random. There's a purpose to it. While comparing the mushroom's electrical impulses to human speech is interesting and notable, some researchers are skeptical. This is very interesting, the spiking activity, but some researchers are skeptical. They are doubtful. What are they saying? Mycologist, somebody who studies fungi, Dan Weber, who was not involved with the study, thinks that the electrical signals could be similar to nutrient pulses sent in other fungi. There could be something related to nutrient pulses. Though interesting, the interpretation as language seems somewhat over-enthusiastic. Maybe you're getting a little going a little overboard here, and would require far more research and testing of critical hypotheses before we see fungus on Google Translate. Take a lot of research, lot more research and study for us to really say that fungus have a language. Question 13. In the passage, the parenthesis in paragraph 6 indicates which of the following. Where is the parenthesis? Means brackets. Where has brackets been used? Let's go back. Parenthesis could also mean inside quotes, but here, what does it mean? Paragraph 6. Where's paragraph 6? Quite early. Oh, here it is. If you count the paragraphs, this is paragraph 1. This would be paragraph 2. This would be 3, this would be 4, this would be 5 and 6. So what does this show? Is what he is asking. A fungal word length averaged over 4 species, and then he's put the parentheses and put 4 dots. So what does it mean? The 4 species that I have mentioned before, those 4 fungi. That's what he means when those are given. He didn't want to mention all 4, so he's just mentioned dots and inside brackets. So what does the parenthesis stand for? This is more like an question really on English punctuation and how parentheses are used. The average word length of the fungi? No. The 4 fungi species mentioned in the 4th paragraph. Yes, that's what it stands for. So my answer is B.